Welcome to Medically Speaking. My guest today is Carol Horton from the Kaleida Health Foundation. Carol, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Mike. Always good to see you.
So, as a not-for-profit health system, Kaleida Health relies on philanthropy as part of its operations. If you can, first give us an overview of what the Kaleida Health Foundation is, its mission, and how you guys are organized. And then let's talk a little bit about how you support the overall organization.
So the Kaleida Health Foundation's mission is the same as that of Kaleida Health, and that is to support the health of our community. And of course, we can only do that with the right resources, right? So the Kaleida Health Foundation helps raise money for all of the Kaleida Health Foundation, all the Kaleida system, I should say, entities, with the exception of the Children's Hospital. So we raise money for the Gates Vascular Institute, Buffalo General Hospital, Millard Fillmore Hospital, DeGraff, High Point on Michigan, which is our long-term care facility, the labs, and also the Visiting Nurse Association, which of course covers all 10 counties of Western New York. So it's a very, very vast entity. And I should add that the only reason we do not raise money for the Children's Hospital specifically is because the Children's Hospital has their very own foundation.
Good point. I know you're the lead executive, and I know you have a great team that leads the foundation. But if you can, walk us through your board and their role and how they assist you guys in fundraising.
So we have about 12 different very prominent community members who sit on our board. And what they do is obviously they advise us on different ways that we can raise monies. But what's really important is that they help us with the relationship building throughout the community. So they bring to us folks who perhaps have an interest in Kaleida Health or something that Kaleida Health does, and we help educate them about it. And then they can decide if that's something that they want to help support or not. So they really are kind of our tentacles out into the community and really help build those connections and those relationships. And Buffalo is such a tight-knit community. It's just amazing how everyone's just a couple of steps away. And what they bring to the table is immeasurable. Without their support and what they bring to us, it would be very, very difficult for us to do our jobs.
Yeah, well said. The foundation has had some recent initiatives and some success as of late. Can you give us some examples of some of the ways you've helped the organization from a philanthropic standpoint?
Yeah, we really have. And of course, it all comes down to partnerships, right? And we've had some tremendous partnerships, not just with our donors, who we really are trying to think of more as philanthropic partners. That's really what they are, because as healthcare continues to evolve and becomes more and more challenging, we need those partnerships to really sail the ship, if you will. So one success story we had recently was we've had about a 4-year partnership now with the Buffalo Marathon. And they have a particular race that's a relay race, wherein that one is designed to support the Gates Vascular Institute. So we've raised almost $500,000 with their help over the last couple of years. And between them and another private donor, we've raised enough money to support all new hemodynamic monitoring systems at the Gates Vascular Institute. The ones that were there were very much outdated. So we were able to purchase 6 new ones to the tune of about $340,000, and it is making our caregivers' jobs much, much easier. And the ones that we had were very much outdated. So now our healthcare workers and consequently our patients are feeling much, much better and confident about the numbers and the readings that they're getting.
So in that example, you utilizing a partnership with the marathon, is that a crowdsourcing way of fundraising? Maybe a runner who has a particular interest in, whether it's the GBI or the organization, or maybe even not, but they know that if they do participate in a relay race during the marathon, that the funds can go to a good use. So is that a way to, whether you call it triangulating or crowdsourcing fundraising for you guys?
It is, and it's been awesome because it can work in a variety of ways. There are those people who have had particular personal stories who say, hey, I want to help support the Gates Vascular Institute, so I'm going to run in this to support them. And I'm going to do that by getting my friends to each pitch in, a few bucks here and there. And the next thing you know, you have $1,000 or $2,000 that you're able to support the organization. And then the other thing is that some folks would just prefer to not pay an entry fee to a race like that, which, hey, everyone likes a bargain, right? And they say, well, how can I avoid paying an entry fee? And we say, well, if you just raise, $500 from your friends, we'll avoid an entry fee. And they're like, great, I can do that. So there are the people who do it for very, very, serious reasons, and because of themselves or their friends or their family have had some kind of cardiovascular issue. And then there are other people who just say, okay, that sounds like fun. Let's go ahead and try it. So it's been a great model that it kind of affects just about everybody in one way or another.
So you mentioned the Gates Vascular Institute and some equipment for that facility. Do you guys have a handful of priorities each year that you guys work on fundraising for to make sure that the organization has the resources that it's needed?
Yes, we absolutely do. So another thing that we're raising money for right now is the mother baby unit at Millard Fillmore Suburban Hospital. The beds that were in the mother baby unit, some of them were over 30 years old. So they really needed to be replaced. So with our help of the Millard Fillmore Women's Board, we were able to come up with $200,000 for the mother baby unit to purchase new beds. Those beds were very expensive. They were $10,000 each. We needed 20 of them. And the Women's Board stepped up and helped support that initiative. So that was terrific.
So during COVID, I know the foundation had a tangible impact, connecting the community to the hospital operations, making sure, because I know the public, a lot of people were sitting at home, they're off from work and they wanted to help out. And I know you guys did a very good job of organizing food drives and collections and donations, things like that. But coming out of COVID, how do we make sure that the public understands that, donations and contributions are still that important, as we wrap up 2022?
Yeah, it's very important. I think in COVID, we kind of understood that the support was really for our healthcare heroes. We were hearing that phrase a lot, and actually for the PPE and the things that were specifically related to COVID. But as we kind of come through COVID and now back to a little bit more normalcy, if you will, we need to remember that the entire healthcare system always was and always will be not for profit. So we cannot continue to provide the level of healthcare that we do and even increase it, as of course just time and technology dictates, without philanthropic support. So we really need everyone to pitch in and take ownership, if you will, that this is a community organization, that none of us ever knows what's going to happen next. But if we want high quality healthcare, the healthcare that we have now, into the future, we need to really all step up and support it and keep it at the top of mind.
Yeah, so you mentioned Suburban Hospital, the Mother Baby Unit, the Vascular Institute with some of the cardiac work, but you guys are also involved in some of the specific service lines across Kaleida Health. Walk us through how you guys are engaged with the Great Lakes Cancer Care Collaborative.
Yeah, so that's been one that we've been able to support the last couple of years through our Kaleida Classic Golf Tournament. So all of the proceeds from that over the past 2 years have gone to the Great Lakes Cancer Care Collaborative. That's been the total of over $600,000 in the past 2 years. And so that's really become a kind of a cornerstone event for Great Lakes Cancer Care.
And then if you can, looking out over the next 6 to 12 months, if I'm a community member watching this video, what do you want them to know about the foundation, its role, how they may be able to get involved?
First of all, I can't repeat enough, so I'm going to repeat it again, that the Kaleida Health is a not-for-profit. So the foundation's tantamount responsibility, and it is a responsibility and a privilege, is to raise money for the healthcare system. Reimbursements from insurance companies are going down while healthcare costs are rising. There's been a tremendous problem with a labor shortage coming out of COVID. So to recruit the kind of healthcare workers that we need, as far as nurses and physicians, it's been very, very challenging. So the only way we can really do this is with the proper funding. So I would say over the next 6 to 12 months, when people are looking at making their annual contributions, if they could really remember that Kaleida Health is going to be there for them, that we really could use that support. And we can do it, obviously simply from a standard donation, getting in touch with us, givetokaleida.org, or volunteering at any of our events or coming to any of our events. It doesn't have to be, I think sometimes when people hear about philanthropy and donations, they're thinking, oh, well, I don't have $1 million to give away. Well, most of us don't. But every few dollars makes a great impact. And of course, time is among the greatest gifts. So we have lots of events that are all listed on our website throughout the year. We're always looking for volunteers to help us with some of those events. And we have a good time. And then when you remember that it's helping people out as well, it makes you feel good.
Well, I know the physicians, frontline workforce, when they see the impact of the foundation, they're very grateful. What's your message for your donors who you've had, you know, pitch in these last few years, or your volunteers and who have made that impact? I know you always try and recognize them, but if you can, let's wrap up with your message of thanks to those who have contributed or helped out in the past couple of years for the foundation.
Well, Mike, you can never say thank you too much. And to say thank you a million times still wouldn't be enough. Without the support of our donors over the past few years and always, the system really wouldn't be where it is today. And Kaleida Health is such an integral part of the entire Buffalo community that I think it's fair to say that Buffalo wouldn't be the community it is without the impact that our donors have had on the health system. So we thank them from the bottom of our hearts, and we look forward to working with them for many years to come.
Well said. That's Carol Horton from the Kaleida Health Foundation talking philanthropy, fundraising, and Kaleida Health. Carol, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike.